will this be available to watch on the website?
Yes, I just hit record.
Okay.
So here we go.
Okay. All right. I see familiar faces, and some of you said you know me. That's nice. Appreciate that. So I didn't know what I was supposed to do today, and actually, Rachel said I'm just supposed to be myself and how I would paint. So this could get interesting. I'll give you a few tips on what I do. Um, First off, I've been a painter pretty much all my life. You name it, I probably have done it. I've had a lot of different jobs. Um, so a lot of my jobs up until about, I'd say 7 years ago has been in service to others, like doing classes. And I worked for Winsor Newton and Jack Richardson and doing all of this kind of thing where, it was pretty much planned out. So over the past 5 years, I have deprogrammed myself. And now I have stacks of paper because I've become totally experimental just for myself. So you might see some of my paintings are a little bit different than the others because I'm really enjoying the opportunity to do just what I want. I think the number one thing I'd like to say is anybody that's wanting to be an artist is just be true to yourself. And the most successful artist is the artist that follows their criteria, not just technique, but what you know and what you love, and it all comes through. And your voice will start to shine through, and you can actually see, oh, that's so and so. And the last thing I want to say on that, I hope, is that I was to be either a writer or a painter. And both of my high school teachers followed me even after I had children. One wanting me to go on with my writing, the other, you should be a painter. So I decided I loved both of them, and my whole goal for my entire career has been to create this language that when you look at my work, I hear somebody say, oh, that's Rena. Because then it becomes that I've been able to form words through my paint on my paper of things that I love. I do a lot of studies. My friends call me a gawker, but really I'm studying. I love to, on all different levels, whatever interests my day. Like today, I've met several of you. Some of you might be part of a spark for me to do a painting. My paintings center around everything that is dear to me or that I have an interest in. The most ironic thing is when my friends pass, I've never told anybody this, but I'll tell you now because might as well let it out. I actually do a painting of who they were as I saw. And the ironic thing is that those win awards. I think I have help from the other side. So my paintings aren't just technique. I could sit here and paint whatever you want in a technique, but I'm going to show you how I really challenged myself. And I have stacks of paper at home. I don't usually use a sketchbook a lot. Most of mine is just in my head. Some of my students will recognize, I don't know if you can even see this. You can come up and look at it later. I do my own compositions. Well, now the pressure's on. I do my own compositions. And I found that I was going to bring, I will do several of them. And they are not anything that is recognizable. It's more of an abstract. And whether I'm working with color or placement or the white or values, I should be able to turn that painting 360 and work from any side of it. If I can't do that, then I need to go back and work on it some more. So I like to paint by design, and by design is a wide range of subjects that you could use, from line to form to value to color. So I don't always use all of them, but one of them might be stronger over another. Okay. So I did try to come up with, I was thinking about, is Pat Gabriel here? No. She was the whole reason. Tell her that. No, I hope she's okay. So I like to have, because my mind is, as some people know, quite chaotic, because I'm always thinking about a lot of different things. It's hard sometimes to sit down and what am I going to actually paint in the studio? And I brought, this one actually is, it's a pastel too in the gallery. And it's, these are just pictures I take. And it's just, I like the line and I like the placement of color. I like the dark band across it. I wasn't thinking about, I never know flowers. I told somebody here, I really can't name anything. Here's some more. I just like having really color, movement. Then I'll go into black and white. And a lot of these are just springboards for me to think about. I love dandelions. I know most people don't. My neighbors don't. But I like what is all around it, supporting. I like the quiet area of color with a lot of activeness around it. I like for the eye to come to rest. And as I'm saying this, this is what I am thinking in my head, is this is what I want this painting to be. Oftentimes I will name my painting before I begin. Like today, I had a name and I left it at home, but I think I said spontaneous. So I try to start off with something to keep me focused. It doesn't always happen because I think the piece that got into the INA started as flowers and now it's a crow. But because of the design, I was able to alter that into another form. So I like puzzles and I like being able to try to figure out things as I go along. To me, it's not, I have to get rid of the photograph because nothing ties me more than this image. And then I'm like, oh, but that leaf went this way instead. So I might get a sense of a subject from a photograph, and then I go to my paper and I start. I wanted to show you this. One of my students gave me this. I love this. And this is, I think they got it off, no, not eBay, but Amazon. I don't do Amazon. And so what I did was this little top comes out, and this is my tray of new colors. So oftentimes I will start a palette of colors I'm unfamiliar with, and that offers me more of a challenge too. So these are actually the colors if I can't remember what they were because I put so many new ones on it. And that just slips right underneath this removable tray. So that's just my little tip there. All right, so I'm looking at this and I have these, I kind of have an idea of what I might, somebody was talking birds, there I go. And so I'm thinking, we're going to keep it simple. I'm going to keep it with a limited palette. I like to use different brushes. I have a bristle brush here that'll pick up that paint and move it right along. I have a really soft brush here that will give me nice little edges. I think I'll just start with my favorite color. I like cerulean. And so they said to paint like I normally do, and this is normal. I don't usually have a preconceived idea. I might have a somewhat of an idea of what I might want to do, but I'm going to mix up. I'm going to go from light to dark, and I'm going to put in, with a large brush, my design. I think I want to go with a bigger
Do you
brush.
always paint standing up?
As long as I can. I'm not as hardy as I used to be. Actually, I paint an easel. I like painting at an easel a lot. So I'm going to start in, and I have all these little designs here. The simple thing is I'm going to divide this up into almost like 3 with focal point. So when you look at this, can you see that? So from here to here, there's this very simple design. It should not be the same distance as from here to here. So no place can be the same distance. So as I come down, if you go with the halfway marks, that helps you. I'm going to go here. I'm going to go down on this area here and here. Okay. So what I have are 3 different areas. Can you see the white? I should paint stronger for you. I'm a little nervous, haven't done this for a while. So I'll just put this in here like this for you. Does anybody sing? I like music. I seldom talk to myself in the studio unless it's not going well. I actually started on dry paper, and this is 300 pounds. Okay, so I'll just start with that. I use this different areas of the brush. I'm just looking at what my shapes might be. I'll lighten some of them up. Okay. I'm going to go with, what am I going to go with? I brought color because I really struggle in the winter. I'm really influenced by what I see outside, and it's mostly gray. So in order to kind of boost me a little bit into doing more color, I just brought some color. Sometimes I'll just have, it's just some color I have someplace else. I might have another painting that started, and I don't really have anything that is definitive about it, but okay. So I think that, my focal point is going to be around here. So I'm just going to think, oh, well, I'll just put a little bit of yellow in here and bring it down. I like movement, so I always, usually I soak this, and it is so wet that it never dries. But in an hour's time, I couldn't really do anything here with that kind of paper surface. So I just picked up my brush that had the blue in it, and it has the yellow, so it just makes the 2 colors. All right. So to make this a little quicker, I'm going to go to a color that has some black in it. So I'm going to use, I have a blue here that I can use. This is really hard, thinking and painting at the same time and talking. I haven't been doing this for a long time. Okay, so I think it's this one. By the way, I did put out fresh pigment. This is a Prussian blue. So I'm looking back over here on my design thing, just because I'm trying to stay focused. So I'm going to start here and pull it.
Is that a bristle brush?
Yes. So when I started working for Winsor Newton and Jack Richardson, by the way, watercolor was not the thing. I had been an oil painter. I love my bristle brushes. And, you know, I kind of painted like an oil painter still. And it didn't feel right with these little soft, mushy little brushes. So I took some oil painting bristle brushes and I just cut those suckers off. Well, then I met this famous artist named Zoltan Szabo. These are actually his from way back when.
That's his actual
And
brush.
it, huh?
That's his actual brush, or
Yeah.
oh
This-
my God.
this
my
is-
grandmother studied with him. She loved
He was my first instructor.
him. Oh my gosh.
I know, that's how old I am. I'm great grandma. It's on video, isn't it? I'm sorry.
Sterling Edwards also uses some of the bristle brush.
Yes, but Zoltan's first one. That was a long
probably where
time
he got
ago.
it
That's got to be 45 years at least ago. And it was really ironic because I was just so, wow, Zoltan Szabo. Guy didn't want to talk to anybody because he videotaped everything and he wanted all the students to benefit. So he was going around the room, but this is probably one of the moments that I'm like, well, maybe there is hope. He was going around the room. By the way, there were 3 nuns in the classroom too. No paint in this. And he'd go, oh, you're such a good painter. Oh, boy, you're a really good painter. I love how you paint. And then he came to me and he said, oh, you're such a good artist. I'm like, wait a minute. So I went to him afterwards. I didn't care. I had to find out what was going on because I thought maybe I should give up because I wasn't a painter. And he said to me, I said, you know, you went around to everybody and I'm not a painter and you said I was an artist. And he looked at me and he said, anybody can be a painter. Few can be an artist. And I thought, this could be a good start. Ironically, years later, I decided I started off with Jack Richardson before he even started his company. And I could almost do this mindlessly. Okay, so anyway, I was at trade shows. I would teach and I would use his products. And I finally decided I didn't want to do that anymore. Guess who took my place? Zoltan. And it's like, oh my gosh. But yeah, I think it's really good to talk with other people and try and find out different things that moves you forward. And I know some very well established and well-known artists, and I tell you, there's always this conversation about, oh, I can't paint today. Unfortunately, that's been my whole week. Sorry, I didn't get to call you. So I have a little network of friends that I usually talk to, and we really support one another. And I think everybody goes through that. You have that moments where I just can't paint. And it seems ridiculous. I've always painted. Why can't I paint? My favorite color, I really like opera. I choose colors too for their little characteristics that they have. And I don't like that. There's something in there. I'm a great polluter of my colors, unfortunately. I've had this brush for 45 years, and this is a sable blend, which is really nice. Now, when I put this on, I'm actually thinking about how that color will mix. I don't like to use my brush back and forth because, you know, that can muddy it up. But for me, I really enjoy just moving it. I wanted that, I have my strong color, my focal point. Here, I'll hold it this way. I always think it looks weird. That's what it looks like so far. So, here we go. I'm going to be really embarrassed if it doesn't work. So, if I turn it this way, you know, I think I could do something with that. Painting it this way, I need to just take, that comes there. I think I just need to connect to the edge of the paper just a little bit down here. I'm going to turn it this way. Yeah, I think I could do that. I think that would work. But no, I think I have another idea. I think I want to, this is me talking to myself in the studio, by the way. I think what I want to do is I want to introduce a little bit more earthy organic. So I'm going to pick up some of my umber and burnt sienna. I really like burnt umber a lot. It has its own special qualities. I'm going to add a little bit of the ultramarine blue because it likes that color. So I'm going to go ahead and pull this in here. Pull it part way. Now I'm going to take an edge. I want my marks to not be static. So I want this to breathe. So I'm going to pick up water and pull that on out. Pretty wet. Here I thought I was going to avoid that. I'm going to turn it this way. I think it would work that way. Does anybody think not? I don't care. I mean, yeah. I mean, I think it could. I really do. I think I'm going to take some of the yellow here. Just a little bit. I have this area here. So I'm looking at this over here, entrance and exit there. And I'm just going to mute some of that color so that I think what I'm thinking is I'll have a focal point here and then it all just kind of fades out. I'm very, very softly laying this yellow over the top of it. I don't think I can do that here, but I can tap it. And that will kind of help to transition that. So you need to decide, do I want to have bold edges? I mean, it's all your style. I'm adding, my nemesis is green. I have a really hard time with green. I hate it when I get too much green in there. And it always comes. I don't know how that happens. I have to tell you, I actually had an idea of what I was going to paint, and that didn't happen. It's gone. So, you know, it could be something. I want to let it move. I don't even remember where I started. Was it this way? Yeah, I think it was this way. And that's the fun thing. it doesn't matter. If you get it so in any direction that it works, sometimes it's like, I'm not quite sure where I'm going to go with this. So I will put it on my easel and just walk away from it for the night. But I have to tell you, I probably have 3 of them. Because what happens is I'll do this, and I really enjoy doing this. So then I'll take another sheet of paper underneath here, and I'll do another one. Sometimes, and so it's for color theory, it's like, okay, I'll reverse the colors. I'll start with which color did I start with?
Yeah.
Thank you. I'll start with the blue, and I'll go the opposite direction then. So the sequence, I learned that on the sequence of what colors you lay down gives you a different effect. Of course, you guys all knew that. I see your paintings here. So, I mean, I was hoping all this hot breath would just get it to dry a little bit more. I love, 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 love this book. I am so sorry that Cheap Joe's went out of business. I've had these for the entire time I taught. And it was his Cheap Joe's Starving Joe brush or something. I like it because the synthetic is not real long and it's manageable. So I have more control.
I think the company that bought the Pigments American Journey, I think they also are going to pick up this line of brushes.
Are they?
I thought I read that somewhere.
Oh, well,
Could be wrong, but I thought I read that.
These used to be really inexpensive, and they've got the little scraper edge. But I've had these forever, these little flats. But what I like about them is I do come back. I like these little holes of white. I intended to do more, but I got to talking. So these could be my positive negatives. So as I come in here, I'll pull this. I know I've got a staining color, so it may not pull as much. So you can always just try water. I like things to be overlapped and tucked in, not, aesthetically, here it is. Do anybody have any questions? Good.
Do you ever use hair dryers?
Huh?
Do you ever use hair dryers to speed up the drying?
Not too much.
Some people
It's
are
a good
against them.
idea.
Some
Yeah.
people are totally against them, and some people use them passionately.
I'm not. Whatever works for you. That's try. The interesting thing about watercolor is depending on the surface you're working on and the weather, the drying thing. And I don't know if some of you know I did performance art. See, I got that in there. Did performance art, and so it would be like I would do a painting in 40 minutes to music. I love that because I didn't have to talk, and I could just do my own thing. I mean, it makes a big difference because you just get so focused on just what you're doing. And the singer-songwriter, I feel real connected to him. His words and everything really resonate with me.
Is that salt, Rena?
Hmm?
Is that salt?
Yeah, I just
Okay.
put a little salt on there because I wasn't moving the white. We'll see how that works. I do have a little sprayer thing. I kind of like it though. I didn't think I was going to say that today. I am the worst champion of my art. I am always just, I have a real hard time. I think it's because one of my friends said that, you're always trying to improve or just find your voice or do the next level. And I don't know that I've ever achieved that level. I have some paintings, a few that I like, but mostly I'm not real satisfied with everything I do. I mean, they're okay. but that's just me. Um, and it's because I paint for myself. You know, it's I'm the worst critic. So on here, I like the darks, but, and I like the dark here, I like that here. I'm gonna go ahead and just put in. It's really wet. Look at that, that's that green. Gotta love it. Only using 4 colors. I find that if I experiment, part of my job when I worked for the companies, they gave me all these new colors all the time. And then I'd have to go teach how to use them. Was I could only add 1 at a time to my palette because of what I just told you, the sequence of how a color is applied or how it's applied, whether it's on wet paper or dry paper or, you know, a wash or thick or one of my hog hair brushes or a soft brush. It all has a different effect. And so I would only probably do 6 colors a year. And I started to develop palettes. I have probably, I think I'm down to just 4 now. I have a plein air palette, a portrait palette. I'm not quite sure all the colors palette. The palette I began with way back when. And somebody had mentioned a singer-songwriter was playing, and oh my gosh, he was just phenomenal. I did not know he was famous. I'm so clueless. Anyway, I went up to him and I told him, I said, wow, I saw music when I saw you play. And he said, it was fascinating. He says, you sat there and you didn't even look at your palette to bring the colors over. And I go, well, you weren't watching your fingers. So it's kind of like you get real comfortable. So that first palette I have is really disorganized, but I actually know where everything's at. I don't have to look, you know. So then it's like these correlations between another art and then what I do is like, wow, that's kind of cool. Then I found out he was just very famous. How embarrassed was I on that? Well, a little bit for a little while, but anyway.
What brand of paints do you prefer?
I really, really love Daniel Smith. If I was still working with Winsor Newton, I'd say Winsor Newton. I do like Winsor Newton. I've tried Blick. I found that Blick dries out real fast for me. I have friends that use Blick for oil painting, and they're beautiful. But I don't know.
What do you like about Daniel Smith?
The intensity of the color. I mean, they seem, and they have such a range. I started when they started to come out with the quinoctodon colors. I really love those synthetic colors. I found that those were colors that I could brighten up any of my paintings just easily. I mean, they would just seem like magic, and that's an interesting thing when you bring up color because having worked with all these, I worked with liquid text a little bit. You know, you can buy a burnt sienna and it's not the same. So I usually use my Winsor Newton burnt sienna for florals. Less is hard. I really, Rob O'Dell, all I ever bought was Student Grade Academy. But I really, that's all I ever work with. Cheapest brushes you ever seen too. Beautiful paintings, there's testimony. But the burnt sienna in Academy, I really love for natural kind of things. It has a grainier texture to it. And so it's a little heavier. So I do have different brands of the same color for different reasons because of the characteristics. And of course, some of these were actually, that some of them are mine. So, you know, you can look around here at our land that we have, and the soil is different. So I just assume part of that is because of where, you know, they get their product. So I don't know. I left all that behind. um, okay, there it is. So I usually would let this dry because I did the bullseye again. You see that? So I'm just going to take and try and I'm going to take that off of there. I don't have any Kleenex. Sometimes I'll use a Kleenex. It's really wet, so I can do this. And now that I'm on my own, I don't have any rules. I do whatever I want. I like using gesso. I started working with transparent and opaque, and some of the cadmiums and stuff were not opaque enough for me. So I started mixing my watercolor with gesso on a separate palette. Don't get the gesso anywhere near your watercolor palette. Huh? Do you? Well, it's a little softer than this. Sometimes this will leave a texture. I don't know what time it is. I suppose you guys want me to finish.
3:51.
Thank you. See?
You're fine. We started late, so we're like only 37 minutes in. Yeah, it was a lot behind it.
So I'm going to put in watermarks now. I love watermarks. So, and that salt wasn't really working. So I like texture and things that look a little more interesting. I'm really dancing around that because it's really wet. A hairdryer probably would have been a good idea. So, you're pretty good, yeah. I think I'm going to just gray down a little bit of that blue.
What did you mean by watermarks? The blue?
Yeah, a bloom.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. I probably have forgotten all the technical terms. Yeah. Yeah, I love blooms. Oh yeah. Anything I can get on there that doesn't look natural, I'm happy. So I think I'll come in here and thinking about where I'm going to go. This is where I put it up on an easel and step 10 feet back from it and see what's going on.
Do you usually tilt your palette there?
Oh, I usually work at an easel.
That's what I said, so you don't have it. You wanted us to be able to see.
Yeah. I'm at a handicap. No. So I think I'm going to do a little, it's just a little bit of negative painting. I've always been fascinated with the movement of watercolor. And, there's a lot of beautiful paintings in here that you can really tell what the subjects are. I mean, and I started that way, but, it is how you define your work. And mine, I just want it to be interpretive. I would probably go outside and look at some things and think about it dancing as it moves out into the background. Palette needs it's clean. Yeah, that hairdryer would have been good. So, I don't know if you can see. I'll just hold this up. It's a little hard. So I reintroduced a little bit of the purple, the cooler colors up here, and that's just a little bit of that I had splattered down here. So as I go along, if it's going as I want it to, I'll start mixing up from those 4 colors. That's adding the Prussian and putting the opera into it color. And I've got a lot of, I need to clean my palette here. Need muddy colors. I do have cards out there, and my cards are actually from cleaning my palette. So when I have my palette and it's like, I just hate to get rid of that, I go ahead and I'll just do 3 or 4 cards. It's become quite almost more popular than my regular painting. I'm like, oh, give me dirty palette. This is too much of the same, so I'm just going to make a mark through that. Is it still wet? Nope, not enough. I'm going to go ahead and just pull this through. Do you see where these are? I like to work with transition of pools of color and color that's transforming across the white of the page that's not really blended. I really like having all of the little lines, and if you saw my, this is another thing I would do. I like looking at the ground. So one of the things I also did for myself as an artist is, and you guys have been in my classes before, you've heard me say this before, I apologize, but I would take a subject or an idea or a concept just for me for the entire year. And that was the basis of my work. And it's not a literal basis of my work, but it comes from observing whatever that was. One year, I had lost several people in my life, and I just, it's like, oh, it's just like, they're not there anymore, but they're there. So somehow or another, shadows became my metaphor. So all of my work, my designs were all from shadows. So it really forced me to think about, and it was like this whole idea of something that's cast to the side. I've done actual subjects, like my neighbor found an owl and brought it over, which we could have gotten in big trouble. But we took pictures, and so there was the evidence. And so for a year, the owl was like this with dead eyes.
Oh, no.
So then I thought, it looks like it has dead eyes. So I started studying owls. And it's really interesting where your art can lead you. So as I was studying owls that year, I actually had a professor from Purdue that was in aeronautics come over and give me a 2-hour lecture on how owls were important in creating the flight. And they used their wings and the silence of it and all of this. I had no idea. And I'm like, wow, that's just from painting owls. Well, then I had another guy, had another call, and it was from Native American. And they invited me to a powwow, and they said, after seeing your work, it's very spiritual. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this is almost like I'm opening a book for them. So they're telling me the stories that I've always longed to hear, that other people are seeing, So that happens. It's just really interesting that your work, especially if you kind of focus on something. I was talking to someone here earlier about how, and I know Eileen is really involved, her husband is, with Nature Conservancies. So, I don't know anything about a lot of that, and I can't even pronounce some of the words they say. But from listening to them give me the input of their passion, it really helps me as an artist to understand why this subject is just more than a bird, or why these weeds are just more than a weed. And so that all goes into my work, and that's kind of where I'm at. So I like that. That's the first, I very seldom say that. So this is actually a color I've not really used before. And it's gray. So this is, I don't know if you can see it, grays here.
What color is it?
I'm back to that Prussian blue with the opera. Have you ever mixed that before? I know you paint a lot. Have you? You have? I have never. This is my first. Don't tell me if I'm going to get in trouble. Okay. No, I've never mixed those. And that is what I do a lot when, I'm in my studio and I'm painting. A lot of times, most times, I should say, things don't quite go right. I'm trying to bring this down from the center. So that's when my work, it's like, okay, I really wasn't seeing this. I really wasn't, I was trying to force it to be something that it's just not. And that's when these other paintings just emerge completely, totally from what I originally thought it was going to be. But I think it's the intuitiveness of knowing subjects that I've studied, or subjects that have meaning. Oftentimes, just people talking will give me the answer to a painting. So I'm always trying to be in tune to anything that's around in my surroundings here, and applying that to my art. So this is kind of sitting right there. So I'm going to bring this on down. I don't know what it is. Oh, look, it's dried. So I'm going to extend this yellow down as a more muted color. And I'm taking it away from this whole centered thing, so I can move the eye. So that's what I'm looking at now. It's like I was like bullseye here. So now I need to move the eye. So what I'll do now is I'll work on the light areas, and my light areas will be the pathway. I used to love to say in class, did you drive here and stay on the right-hand side of the road? Yeah. Did you park between the lines? Yeah. Well, when you paint, you can take people anywhere you want in your painting. So you can create a design that moves a person around that your painting. Or, if you like something to be static, that's fine. But again, we're supposed to just talk about me today. We're going to go up here and just do a little lighter. So if I'm starting to run over, Tanya, you just tell me here.
Okay, you're fine.
If anybody needs treats, you can get them. And I like this kind of opening here. I'm going to come over on this side. I think I'm going to keep that one as a light. I don't always paint like per se a leaf. Okay, decision time. I need to come back here and get a round brush. what am I going to do? Yellow, green, no. No, I don't like that. So now I'm trying to decide the color for the centers of the subjects. So it's going to be kind of like that. And again, I know I was going to paint this so much. I'm still sticking with the same colors that I started with. My opera's really taken a beating on this. I love flowers. It's like their little faces, you know. How are they going to turn this way or that way? I don't know that I'm going to put all of the detail in here, but I'd like to have a break here. I don't know what these are either. It could, you know, I probably was influenced by the dandelions, but they're not dandelions, but I do like that. One of the things so you get really nervous when you're painting nationally and then it's internationally and then it's like, oh my gosh. Ugh. So I would take, for a while, the same painting that I might have taught before previously, and I'd take that design and I would maybe turn it upside down and I would do another painting. And somebody noticed that. I couldn't believe it. They actually noticed that, you know, like this is kind of the same design, but in those instances, I was actually painting subjects all the time. So I found that really interesting that somebody actually could tell that. We're going to transition just a little bit of a little bit of green because, you know, green really is, it's to be too much. I fight with that to this day, you know, getting too much green on with the plants. So I have some in the background. And now I'm actually changing color is what I'm doing. Even though I might be pulling these little sticks, that one's a green one. So oftentimes if it's a little limb or twig or stick or whatever, I will, if I want it to not be so dominant, then I look at the color or if I want the color pattern to kind of continue to flow, then I will match that. If I want it to, and I'm not sure if I want to, but I'm doing it. For some reason, the words tucked away keeps coming into my head. See, that's that writer thing. I love words. I can just sit there and go through it. One time we were on a trip and I was missing my words, so every time we'd go through a little town, I'd write down the street names. They have some really interesting names. And then I would take those street names and I would do paintings to them. You get really bored. Some people just won't let you dry. And not saying names. He's not here. So, the other thing is I don't know if you can tell, I don't really take myself real seriously because, you know, I'm just trying to create something that makes me happy. And I really enjoy the fact that I can do that now. But I seem to have more unhappy moments than happy moments because I evidently am hard to please. I just keep thinking, oh, maybe I should have done this, that, or the other. And then the question is, so when is a painting finished? That's a good question. I don't know. It's when you finally put it down and go, okay, that's it. I just can't do anymore. You know, it's less sometimes is best. Think about what your goal is, and I think I'm going to, all right, I think I'm going to go the other way. Anybody have any questions?
Said you named it spontaneous before you started? Did you name it spontaneous, you said?
Mm-hmm.
And what
That
is-
was my go word.
Yeah. So what are you seeing now? What are you seeing?
It's a little bit static for me, but I'm going to see these little white spots here. I'm going to take some of the yellow and put some in there. And then, gosh, like my studio. Oh, was it Judy Betts? I know some of you guys had her. What she called these little jewels, I think, where she'd have the little light areas and she'd go back and she could just hit it with a little bit of color. It all needs to, at this point, I need to define this here. This is too straight here. This is too straight here. I'm not quite sure where I'm going with that yet, but so far this is where it's at. It's still wet, and I normally dry it really well, but I usually just leave it, you know, and I'll come back to it. So another thing I could do here, let's try. I'm going to just make some more. So I'll add another little flower. I hate that I'm saying that because I never really name anything. It's kind of like my rule. Because once I do that, it's like I have to paint that because that's what it is. And it kind of takes away my freedom. All this stuff is just about me. Remember, it's just about me. So whatever works for you guys, you know, that's what you need to determine. But for me, you know, it's something that literally I don't want to be can you see it emerging? So I'm going to repeat shapes. It's all it is. You know, if I don't finish this, I probably never will. So what I need to do now is come into this, but it's really wet. It's just not a good idea right now. So as it dries, see, I can come back into some of these lighter areas and add other values of that same repetitive shape. So all I'm thinking about now is adding these shapes. And I really need to break this up. Okay, let's just do it. I brought in my sketchbook. I think I had done that for class, so maybe you guys would could see kind of what I was thinking about. I have a lesson plan that I had done in here, and this one was just on tulips. You're welcome to take a picture of it. It's out there. And so these were all the things we went over in class, you know, thinking about the shapes, where you're going to place them, the spacing of it. You know, what if you go with a linear line across the back? Colors, and these are color sequences and stuff. And then changing the four lines, which would be the outside of that. I think I'm going to go over here of the painting. I could probably make a book. I have drawers full of all these lessons I did all those years. Oh gosh.
Do it.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh. Okay. Feeling a little better. I don't know. How about you guys? You're in it with me now. So, I think I'm going to go ahead and add a darker value back here. I'm going to add a little bit more of this color. So what I'll do is I'll add those colors, and then, so now I got two, but it was a long time coming because the paper is really wet. I didn't think I'd have that much trouble on this, but there must be some humidity somewhere. You guys had enough yet? Oh, I keep forgetting you're recording. Like, oh gosh, I'm sorry.
I haven't said anything bad, trust me.
Okay, I've already said it. So, oh gosh.
She's cutting out all the swear words.
Okay.
Oh, the editing.
She promised me. So I got all these oases of just one color. If you really look at my paintings, you'll see why would that color be added there, or what's that mark? And it's just basically me thinking about the design of color or value on the painting. I love this one. Do you guys have this one? This is like Rosemary's Co-Extended Point. Has a little body to it, and then it has this little long line. And so Johnson's gave it to me. It really carries across
There was a
the pig.
dragon tongue that Cheap Joe's offered that was similar to that. I love using it.
Yeah, it really carries across on a larger surface of the paper. It's nice, yeah. Well, I don't know what I can do because I'm going to have mud here before I know it. I really like that, going like this. So I end up being a little bit shy sometimes about my darks. And it's like, just do it. Oh gosh. I change my brush a lot because it looks like rabbit prints across here. So I need to have a different mark, if you will, than what I just put down there. So that's why I changed the brush. I'll go back in and still thinking about the design. I have you saw me do those little watermark lines and stuff. So that makes it easier for me. I think I must got not as intense perhaps it's called lazy, I can go back and just go on either side of those without having to spend a lot of time. And I don't like to use a pencil on the paper. Pencil is the best fence I could ever build. I will not go beyond it. So if I have a pencil mark, my brush goes, stops. So I very seldom do pencil. I didn't have any of that on here. I think I'll do this one. I don't do as much negative painting as I used to. I used to do a lot of that. So this is an edge that describes something. Some people would call it a leaf, but to me, it's a shape that is supporting these round shapes. So if I think of it that way, then it can be any shape I want it to be. I really enjoy getting with other artists and painting. Not so much about trying to do what they do, but it's nice to have kind of the encouragement of what you're doing is okay, because most of them will just sit there and go, "You're doing good." So,
Tell me that every day. Tell me that every day.
yeah, can I call them up? Yeah. All right, can you see how I'm actually, so I actually look at, so there, I've got this pinky gray color in here.
Yeah.
It's subtle. And so now what I'm doing is I'm thinking about using those light areas, the first washes, and coming back and just reinforcing next to them so that I have this movement of color that goes through in this pattern. So right now it's going this way. So I really need to come in here. Anytime you think you need me to stop, just let me know. I can remember when I first learned negative painting, you painted all the way around everything. I very seldom do that.
So you said you used 3 colors?
4.
4.
I added, well, kind of 5. I added here, burnt sienna, and ultramarine blue, but I haven't used it since. It's going to be my minimal color.
Starting with Prussian blue, right?
That's what I'm working with.
Yeah.
And I chose that because it easily goes dark for me today. So it's kind of my friend.
Didn't you have cerulean down at first too?
I put cerulean down first
Okay.
because it's my favorite color.
Have to remember that.
Yeah, it's my painting. I remember it. So it's kind of like, yeah, because I like that color. So, yeah. I really do like cerulean. I like the qualities that I like to throw it into wet pigment all the time. I want to bring that out a little bit more. So I got this one over here, and I'm not quite sure. I might just break that up a little bit more too. So I'm going to take this new fancy brush. I'm going to use a cobalt blue because that doesn't really go dark. I'm just going to use a little bit of that there. I think I'm going to bring one over here. That's my pencil. So, yellow's really hard to go dark, so I've been adding a little bit of that opera into it. I think it is. Back to the other darker edge. Guys are very patient.
We're enjoying it.
Are you? Actually, I am too.
Good.
Yeah. Like, I had no idea what was going to happen here. Truly did not. You know what? I think I've been doing, I like to counter the negative and do some positive. So, kind of look at that. I also double over my brushes. So one side's dark, one side's light. Yeah, I'm happier. Because I didn't want to play with that anymore. Ugh. This is actually more defined than what I usually do.
Is this the length of time you usually spend, or do you usually take a lot of breaks? Come back.
I don't paint very long.
Yeah.
No, I usually go down in an hour at most in my studio, and then I go and do something else, and then I come back. Depends on whether I'm happy with it or not. I go back to it. If not, I set it over on an easel, turn it upside down, and then I work on something else. So I think this is going to be like a little bud here coming off of this. Oh my gosh, I said a word. Sorry. You know what it is I think it's the word play. So when I'm looking, we have we live out on a creek, and we have four little woods and everything. And I look at nature, and it's organized chaos. I love that. So that becomes part of how I want my work to move. Yeah, I have been said that I am chaotic. Now this, so here, are there plates over there? Can I have a plate? I don't think I bought. I appreciate it. Thank you very much. I should. Because I'm thinking, oh, this is just playing around with it too much. Oh, good. I did bring it. I have a tendency to forget things. So I have acrylic. I do acrylic paintings too. Nobody recognizes that. I was in a gallery and I took acrylics. They labeled them all watercolor. That's when I knew. You know, so, and that's really interesting. You know that you get identified as one certain thing. Hmm? Yeah, I know. I know, it was like a canvas. So I have fresh pigment out.
It's on Pro, and there's it's real thick, and they thought it was acrylic.
Kind of jumping over some of this. So because I have a lot of dark down, so I've mixed my watercolor in with my gesso. And so just added a little bit. I'm not real big on using Miscut or Friscut. I'll use PBO if I do. All right, so
Is that Michigan?
let's just see if I can just do a little bit here. And what I'm doing is just kind of thinking about where got a little chaotic there. I think I'll take my cerulean blue. I'll calm that down a little bit. And that's all wet, so it might merge some. I didn't want the gesso to be, you know, other than this, I don't want to think about it until tomorrow. Sorry. And that's what I'd say in my studio. So here is the painting.
Terrific.
Anybody have any questions or anything?
I just want to come see it afterwards. So
Yeah.
If you think about it more and you add more to it, could you have a photo of the final sent out to all of us?
Oh, this one? Oh, yeah. I don't think I'm going to do a whole lot. I'm conflicted because I really like this, but then this is too active, so I need to have just a little bit. But I'm kind of like, I'm not really paying attention. And so I need to look at it, and at home, I won't be overdoing it. I don't know what happened there, but, and this right here, it's got a purpose, but that's not what it is right now. So I don't know what it is. Sorry. I don't know. But I really enjoy painting at home. And see, leave it alone. I will. Painting at home and just kind of enjoying the journey. So if you have a really good, see, hold on, bring that back. Oops, don't like that. If you have a design that, I think our designs are innate in us. I mean, they used to say when students would come in, everybody dresses differently. If we went to one another's houses, we would all see the arrangements and different likes and dislikes. Well, painting should be that way too. It should be something that you are connected to, because this is all about how I feel. And I think I was talking with a friend, is very accomplished, a couple of them this week. You guys made me nervous. And all of it is it takes a little bit of a bravery to just do your thing. And it doesn't matter what reason. I mean, if you just want to paint things and be happy, that's good. But that's your reason. So just go into the art and do it for yourself. I will say there's a lot of sometimes frustration. So thank you guys.
Yes, thank you very much, Rena.